Hello, I'm Chris of Hitless Video, and today we're talking about the film Her Name Was Christa. I've been a fan of this film for a while, and spoiler, it is one of my favorite indie films. Her Name Was Christa is a love story with enjoyable comedic timing and great acting. However, this film is also disturbing, tragic, and at times very gruesome. I decided this film deserved another conversation around it because I don't think it gets enough love. This film was written, directed, and stars James L. Edwards as Stephen Booth. The cast is rounded out with Shine Day as Christa, Kaylee Williams as Raven, Drew Fatir as Nick, and Rick Germain as Blaze. When we see Stephen's life, it's quiet and depressing. Even when Stephen is in a room chock full of other people having lunch or at work, you can see the sadness on his face. Stephen's life kind of turns around though when he meets the new guy at work, Nick. Nick says he's just passing through town trying to make some quick cash because no one else was willing to hire him. Nick's personality is a bit crude, he kind of has a used car salesman vibe, but I felt his interest in Stephen was genuine. Nick thinks he can help this sad, poor bastard in some way, somehow, before he leaves the job. Nick suggests Stephen gets laid in a, let's say, more transactional manner to solve his problem. Stephen is resistant to Nick's idea because he is, but he begins to reconsider it after having some more time alone. Stephen goes for a drive and meets Raven, a lady of the night, and their scene together is purposefully super awkward for the viewer. Try to imagine you and neither of the characters wanting to be there. It's a scene that makes you sympathize with Stephen a bit more because you know this isn't what he wants. He's just out of ideas to make the loneliness go away. When Stephen and Nick compare notes, they decide something else might be more fitting for the situation. Nick suggests Stephen's problem is a lot bigger than he originally thought. So Nick has a new idea for Stephen, the girlfriend experience. Nick explains that the girlfriend experience can appear less transactional as the courtesan pretends to be the girlfriend for the job. As the universe provides, or by delusion, Stephen meets Candy in a parking lot later that evening. Stephen offers to buy her dinner for a little bit of her time, even though he just came from the restaurant himself. The two start talking, getting to know each other, and setting some ground rules and prices for the girlfriend experience. Stephen surprises Candy when he's not really interested in sex as part of their dates. He's focused on getting to know her, having some time together, and if he's lucky, maybe some cuddling and hand-holding. I think Stephen's desire for companionship over sex led Candy, later known as Christa, to trust Stephen. The two begin to go on dates, share stories and experiences. They seem to really enjoy each other's company. Stephen begins to grow confident in himself, and that sad face I described earlier seems to fade away. Nick is happy for Stephen, even though he's really confused by that whole no sex part of things. Stephen's new focus is on living life compared to working life, which puts him at odds with his boss, Blaze. Throughout the film, it appears Blaze lies to Stephen and takes advantage of him to get what Blaze wants. In this final straw between them, Stephen stands up for himself but loses his job in the process. In my opinion, Blaze is an orange-skinned jerk, but is well acted. Once Stephen loses his job, a series of sweet and unfortunate events take place for the couple. Eventually, those same events lead to their gruesome fates. I don't want to share too many details from this point of the film because I don't want to spoil some of the best parts for you. I'm going to list my thoughts about the film with some pros and cons, and then I'll wrap it up together with a closing statement. What makes Her Name Is Christa so unique is its departure from the typical horror cliches. It dives into psychological horror. The film occasionally uses these split screens so viewers can perceive the conflicting realities and timelines. The film is dialogue heavy and intentionally confusing at moments. By the end of the film, the story makes you question which scenes or characters were even real and how much you can trust Stephen's point of view as our narrator. When this film gets gruesome, it can get pretty shocking. I'm not the type of person who gets grossed out easily. However, the last 30 to 40 minutes of the film can knock people right on their butt. The last time I watched this film with friends, they thought the film was thoughtful and they liked it, but nothing creepy. However, when Her Name Is Christa takes that hard right turn dusk till dawn style, they were freaking out. I had people wanting me to pause the film so they can process what they were seeing on screen. In that event, some of the people were not able to recover from the explicit material and had to sit out the rest of the film. People may joke about low budget indie horror sometimes. However, I've never had to pause a blockbuster in the final act because something was so shocking to the viewers. Her Name Was Christa is not a film for the faint of heart. It likely needs the right audience to enjoy and appreciate it. The visuals and the story are both equally enticing and off-putting. I don't say that because I think the film was hard to watch, as I found the story hopeful and at times profoundly sad too. I think others could have a similar experience. It's great when a film can make the viewer feel things. However, if the viewer is not ready for those feelings, they may not have a great time. I think with future viewings, I would give friends some sort of disclaimer, but to be honest with you, I'm not sure what that disclaimer would be just yet. The story also demands your full attention so you can catch all the finer details between Stephen and the world around him. This makes the film's runtime of about 2 hours a bit of a time commitment. I could understand the argument to edit 20 to 30 minutes out of the film, however, I think that would be a big mistake. In exchange for this time commitment, the film challenges the viewers with this thought-provoking, character-driven narrative that I just particularly enjoyed. In my opinion, this film is a compelling piece of cinema. Each scene was often emotionally taxing, but I still felt it was essential to the story's development. Even if some viewers might find the film's runtime a touch excessive, I think it was just about right. After the first time I watched this film, I contacted Rick Germain and James L. Edwards to learn more about this film because I couldn't get it out of my head. I was still thinking about the movie days later. I experienced an emotional roller coaster watching the film, and I had to talk to someone about my thoughts, feelings, and theories. So if you've grown tired or disillusioned of the various Amityville serial killer zombie movies and are just looking for something a bit different, I suggest giving this film a chance. At this point, you might be wondering, well, Chris, where can I watch this movie? Well, you can see it at a couple different places. Tubi, Plex, Amazon, YouTube. If you're interested in physical media like I usually am, you can get that at makeflix.com. You can get the Blu-ray or a DVD, and you can also get James's other movie, Brimstone Incorporated. I hope you've enjoyed this review of the film. If you've seen it, well, leave an opinion. Let me know what you thought. Did you have the same emotional reaction I did, or maybe not at all? If you have a film you want to recommend, leave a comment as well, or reach out to the Hit List Video Facebook. Take care.